Okay, welcome to the Happy Cycle Show. I'm Britt.
And I'm Bia, and I'm very excited that you're here.
Bea and I are really close friends. We are menstrual cycle enthusiasts, and we've both walked this rocky road of endometriosis and PCOS, and have come out on the other side with using natural healing. So we decided to share the journey with you.
And we're so excited to have this as a space where you can reconnect with your natural cycle. And I think for both of us, that's really where the journey started. So, yeah.
um, Through the show and each episode, we really want to dig deep and have real, raw conversations all about cycle tracking, menstrual cycle awareness, fertility awareness, nutrition, gut health, emotional stuff. Is a lot that we're going to be covering. And this show is stuff that we wish we knew sooner on our journeys. So we are hoping to be the big sisters that you never had on your journey. So yeah.
Love that. So, in this episode is our first one. We're going to cover the why. So, firstly, why we started the show, and our stories, how we met, and our personal stories, mine with PCOS and Brits with endo.
Perfect. So let's think back a bit, Bia. Where did we meet? You can tell us the story of how we met.
So I actually thought about this morning. So I did a workshop in Joburg and I met a few chiropractors. And the one was so excited because she said, "Oh, yeah, you have to join this WhatsApp group. There's a lady that's called Brit, and she created this WhatsApp group that's called Cycle Sisters.
Yeah.
And it's all about just getting women together." And I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I do. So I think it started with me joining the group. And I think, Britt, you said on the group, "Oh, I know about beer." So I was like, "Oh, cool.
Yeah.
At least there's a connection." And then I have my course, my online menstrual cycle mastery. And I really wanted to find someone to share on fertility awareness. And I think that's where we connected, Britt. I asked you to do a talk for me.
Mhm.
Um, and of course, after that, just hearing you speak, and it resonated like on every single note and just what I stand for. And I think it was that we clicked, we spoke, and we knew that my journey, your journey is very similar in what we did, and what we stand for, how we teach, and just how the cycle awareness and the fertility awareness is such a powerful tool for women. And yeah, we just connected. Is there something I missed in that?
No, I think that's a good summary. I had seen your name on my social media at some point. Um, but I think once I did your because I did your course as well. So I was a speaker on your course and I actually went through the course and then we started talking about like some of the people on the course and some of their struggles and then we started talking about our own stories and I think we'll delve into that today because when you told me your story and you were going on this journey alone, and then I told you my story and also alone, and I was like, we did this like very, very similar things, different conditions, but similar principles to heal them. And yeah, I was like, whoa, okay, we need to join forces and just spread this information. So I think that was it.
Love it.
And I think let's just give a background. So we've never actually met in person.
I'm so
Um,
excited for that.
I know we're gonna make it happen, and we'll record some stuff in person, and we will make it happen. So I'm in the UK at the moment. I'm from South Africa, and Bia's from South Africa. But we just explain where you live. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm in the beautiful Western Cape. I have a practice in Oudtshoorn and also in George. But of course, the online space, I work in the online space as well. I have an online course. So I have at least the physical, but also the online space. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yes.
Um, what was I going to say now? Nothing. So yeah, this is the first of many. This is the start of something new. Um, I think let's also talk about where we're at in our cycle, or maybe that's a nice little sidetrack because your cycle has shifted, which is really interesting. And we are kind of literally in sync. So I'm on day, what did I say before we started? Day 13. So I'm day 13 today. I'm approaching ovulation. I'm actually ovulating now with the full moon actually. So full moon's on Monday, and I'm definitely in my spring going into my summer. So yeah, and we actually used to be on opposite cycles. So tell me what happened with that.
So I'm currently on day 10. But literally, and this is, I think we're going to talk a lot about this cycle, and something sounds so cuckoo and weird, but the link to the moon.
Yeah.
So I was 100% linked up with the full moon. So it means my bleed started with the full moon. And I've been on that cycle for at least 2 years. So literally, when it's full moon, I bleed. But the last month, I completely shifted. So from being on full moon, I shifted now, and my bleed started exactly on the new moon. So it's quite a big thing because you think, oh, what's wrong? But I think doing this work for so long, I just know it's a different cycle we're in. So yes, we synced up. I also now ovulate with the full moon. I'm on day 10, also in the follicular phase, so the spring. And I think this podcast is a lot going to be a very insightful for all women to understand. We actually have four seasons.
Yeah, we'll
We're
definitely
not
have
just
one.
winter. We don't just have a period. There's a lot more. So in spring, I love this energy. It's really that exciting energy. And I think doing the first episode on our spring, it's
Mm.
where our estrogen is higher. It's easier to talk. We are more resilient. So it's amazing to know how we can use our cycle for superpowers. So yeah, that was my cycle check-in.
Amazing. Yeah, it was just so weird. We had a discussion the other day about how like I have transitioned as well between the new moon and the full moon, and sometimes it takes a couple of months where I'll bleed like in between the
Yes.
two and it will slowly sort of shift. But I've been on this cycle as well for quite a while now. And then yours just boom one day. You were the next, you were in my cycle. So I think that's a sign. It's a sign of something, yeah, start of something new. Spring, I know where you are in South Africa is not really warm at the moment, but
Mm-mm.
it's springtime in the UK and you just hear like there's birds, everything is just coming to life. And I think it's such a beautiful time to start the podcast, both of our springs.
So
So
cute, so cool.
amazing. So I think let's just talk about both of our journeys because there are a lot of
Yes.
similarities and we haven't like prepped any of this. We've spoken every now and then about our journeys, but I think this is the first time we'll actually have some proper time to sit aside and explain the journeys. So I think, yeah, Bea, you had PCOS, I have endometriosis. I'll talk about mine in a little bit, but yeah, tell us about your PCOS journey.
So I think just before we start, I think our podcast is also it's not about giving medical advice. Everyone just should still just, um, if they change medications or anything, just know that they can go back to consulting with their doctors. But I know there's so much value in sharing stories and testimonials.
Mhm.
So my journey started when I was 20, 19, 20. I'm 33 now, so it's been really many years of going through discovery and trial and error and healing. So I started studying environmental science. So I really lived parallel lives. If I looked at that now, is I was studying environmental science, always with the heart of making a difference. Um, and then I started getting dark facial hair. It's my first symptom. So I was 20, really fit, still just out of school. I played hockey. I was really fit. And I really thought my life as a teenager was fairly healthy. Started getting this dark facial hair. And firstly, not sharing it with anyone because it's such an embarrassing symptom. But it got worse. And eventually told my mom, and she was like, okay, let's just go to the doctor and see what can it mean. Didn't get a diagnosis just like that. They actually didn't send me for blood tests. And Britt, that was such an actually crazy thing. At the beginning, I
Mm.
didn't do that. Eventually got a referral to go and see an endocrinologist, went for an MRI. So have you ever been for an MRI? It's quite a sort of scary experience. Went to the tube, put the things on, got out of it, and the doctor was like, oh, you have cysts on your ovaries. So my mom and I was like, oh, wow, what does this mean? Is it dangerous? Is it cancer? Is it like you, what do you actually know? So she said, no, just go on the pill. It will regulate your cycle, and you'll be fine. So we walked out of that experience sort of, don't want to use the word traumatized, but I think just really, what is going on? There was no really true answers to what was going on. Okay, but went on the pill because now it's going to fix me and it's fine. And also that she said, I'm not allowed to eat carbohydrates. That was the only thing. So my mom now in the shops walk like reading labels at the back that says carbohydrates. So I think the ripple effect when something like this happens is not just you that's affected, it's your family. So just understanding now carbohydrates, we're not going to sidetrack now, but I mean, you can't just look at a label and say you're not allowed to eat this and this and this. Anyway, I was on the pill for 7 years, studying environmentals on the pill. But there was a moment, like I gained 20 kilograms.
Sure.
But it wasn't like I didn't exercise. I was going to the gym. And in the space of just keep on picking up weight, I started doing spinning classes, not eating, throwing up afterwards, sometimes just drinking tea for dinner, like because I really struggled with my weight. And then there was a moment when my mom said, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Because I started getting anger outbursts, like I was uncontrolled. There was something uncontrollable that, and if you touched my arm, I started to cry because I was in so much pain.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, what is going on? Because I'm not a depressed person. I'm not. And anger is a strange emotion when it's uncontrollable. You get angry when you just, it was stupid things that made me angry.
Mm.
And I thought, can this little pill that I'm on actually cause these side effects? And I started reading. Because as a scientist, that was what I was really good at, the research part. Because I do that I was doing that in my profession. And I went off the pill and I had such a different experience in my body.
Mm.
I think my big thing was I started realizing, oh, I feel different. And that's the season analogy always. I felt different. And I realized food is medicine, but realizing that you shouldn't over exercise in certain parts of the cycle. You should really nourish yourself. It's not just calorie counting. There's a lot more to nutrition. And I was then I already then had a master's degree in environmental science.
Yeah.
Working in the industry as a groundwater specialist. But because after the pill, I started doing a lot of research on nutrition and cycle awareness. And I linked and I started just tracking my cycle. And when I started to heal and I lost my weight, but I lost 20 kilograms, my cycle regulated, like the things that they said is not possible with PCOS, started to regulate with lifestyle and food and honoring my cycle. And I thought there's something to this. And I did a holistic nutrition certification while I was still working. I did the Pilates training course while I was still working. And 4 years ago, I thought, well, women don't know this. And I'm going to take a very big leap of faith and really quit my job. And I started the Happy Hormone Club. And I just started teaching a course. And all of it is really just how this evolved into learning so much again from myself and for other ladies and working with so much now. PCOS, PMS, pain, all of it. And I'm always just in awe how the body can heal. So long story, but I just always want to leave people with the hope that your body wants to heal. And when you take responsibility and ask the questions, for yourself, you start a journey. It's my favorite word. So
What
yeah,
journey?
that's a snapshot, but I'm excited to hear yours.
Yeah, I was just reflecting on that. I didn't realize you had gone for an MRI. And was that how they diagnosed the cysts? Because usually
Can
they
you believe
sound. Yeah.
they did not do blood tests? They
Mm,
sent me for an MRI, which on PCOS diagnosis, we're going to go a lot into that in the podcast. But the way you actually diagnose, you first do blood tests to know if they have high levels of androgens, male
yeah.
hormones, which later I did, and I did know I do have. She did a physical examination,
Mm,
which was also like, okay, she looked at everything, if there was hair, different places, and so that was, and then she sent me for the MRI, which is so not the way to do it because you can do it with the ultrasound, but it's also not a diagnostic tool. Did you know that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
It's
know that.
important to know, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into PCOS
Yeah,
criteria in the future.
please.
But so you clearly had like clinical symptoms of high androgens. So potentially, maybe she thought they didn't have to send for blood work because of that. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Like that is the first point of call. What did you start reading? Because you said you were researching. So wh where did you start? Because we've read a lot. So where did you start? And how did you
You,
get that?
you know what? There was actually this moment. I was staying in a student house when I was, when was this now? I was staying in a student house, I think when I was finishing my master's degree. And the lady next to me, the girl, was studying nursing. So now I went to this endocrinologist. She just sent me on my way. And this girl next to me, we weren't really close friends. We didn't spend a lot of time, but there was one evening, it was only me and her in this house. And I don't believe in coincidence, but this night we were just hanging out and I really opened up to her and said, "Oh, I have this diagnosis. I don't really want to know what it means." But she's like, they just did that in their nursing course. She took
Mm,
the book out and she said, PCOS is a syndrome.
yeah,
And you know, the word syndrome means it's a collection of symptoms. And
yeah.
I thought, but what does it mean? So she said, yes, in the book it says with lifestyle, you can manage your symptoms. And I thought, what do you mean? And I had such a, it was a click to start just thinking like, is there something that I can do about this? And that started it. So I actually started on Facebook looking for PCOS, like, and
Mm,
what I found was a lot of women struggling with fertility. And I thought, but I'm young, I'm not in that space. So it
mm,
wasn't that helpful for me because it wasn't where I was. I struggled with other symptoms and I didn't really find anyone that supported me with my symptoms.
mhm.
But then, and I think for both of us, a friend of mine said, read In the Flow by Alisa Vitti.
Mm.
And that was just, I think it was where everything started. For those of you that don't know about Alisa Vitti, but she coined the term cycle syncing, how to live according to your cycle, that's your 4 seasons. And I read that book and I was like, this is it. And I think it
Yeah.
just came from there, right? And where was yours?
So similar, also Elisa, but one thing I wanted to say on that is it takes a very different kind of person to say no to medical advice. Um, because through my journey, I was advised to do things medically, and had I not been who I am, I'm not saying anything about the person that I am, but yeah, it just didn't sit right. I think I had that gut feeling, and I just thought there must be another way. But I'm
Mm,
really sad for people who put their full faith in these doctors. And the stories that we hear, it actually like gives me a horrible feeling in my body. The stories that we hear, I'm like, there's such a different way. If only they were open-minded. So I'll go into my story. Thank you for sharing yours. So many similarities between the two of us. So I was also studying, so I'm a chiropractor, and I came across a girl on Instagram, and she was talking about Woman Code, which was also by Elisa Vitti. It was her first
That's,
book.
yes, I'm sorry, that was the one. Not In the Flow, that's the latest one. Woman Code is the one I read. Yes.
Okay, so you read Woman
Yes. The
Code.
purple one. Yes.
Yes. Then I read In the Flow late, like a few years later.
Mm.
And that was like the next step. I think you can't go straight to In the Flow. You need to start with
No.
Woman Code
Woman
because
Code.
when she
Exactly.
was talking, and it's not a big book, it's really informative, and she spoke and she explained the endocrine system, and I was like, what? Is this how things
Yes.
work? And I was fascinated. And I was 21 at the time, so similar to you. I'm 29 now, so it's been about 8 years. And I actually have been off the pill longer than I was on the pill, finally, um, which is quite a milestone because I was on the pill for 7 years, same as
Mm.
you. So I got put onto the pill when I was very young. It was the very, very in thing to do at that time. I was dating somebody who was a few years older than me, so my parents doing the responsible thing, they thought they didn't know otherwise. I was put onto the pill at 15. I
Sure.
didn't really have many, I don't even remember my menstrual cycles. I was a late bloomer. So to be honest, I don't even know what they were like. I thought that I had a period on the pill. Like I literally thought that that bleed that you get is a period. So I thought my body was still functioning because deep down I knew that we need to bleed because that's a release and that's just how our bodies were designed. So yeah, in hindsight, it's a bit silly, but I thought that I was having a period. So in 2017, this girl on Instagram, I asked her a couple questions about it, and she was talking about woman code and coming off the pill and all the side effects that the pill has, which we are going to get into in the future. But I told my mom, and she was not very keen because I was in my third year only. She didn't want me to fall pregnant. I'm very stubborn, so once I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And I basically just came off the pill. I saw the gynecologist just before, and he kind of was very dismissive, and he was like, "Oh, he'll be back in 3 months, begging me to put you back onto this." So I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll never see you again. Because even if I see another gynae, it's not going to be you because he was just so not supportive. So anyway, I came off the pill and I describe it as this. It's like you were black and white. The world is black and white. And then you took your glasses off and you just saw color again. And I felt incredible because I think, and I also want to say, I'm not anti the pill.
Mhm.
I think the pill is a really good tool and it's useful as long as women know what it's doing to their bodies. That's all I'm about. I'm not saying that this is better than that. I just want people to have informed consent. And the GPs just say bad skin pill, irregular cycle
Yes.
pill. And
Yeah.
it's yeah, yeah. So that's what I wanted to say is that I'm not anti the pill, but I just want women to know the detriment or the side effects it has and the long-term effects it has. Yes, it stopped you
Mhm.
from falling pregnant, but when you stop a natural process, there are repercussions. So that's all I'm saying on the pill for now. It's a tool. I don't think we would have got through our studies as easily as we would have because if we had these symptoms like PCOS and endo like cropping up during our studies, even though I kind of was managing it, but I don't think I would have, yeah, I don't think I would have gone through my studies as easily without the pill. So I'm grateful.
Mm.
Um,
I'm the opposite on that note.
yeah,
But
let's
yeah, because
in
of the pressing on, it didn't really, well, it affected my emotion so much that I was not really myself.
yeah.
So yeah, but yes, sorry, continue.
Okay.
To put in
No,
it.
I agree. I was very monotone, but it meant that I could be the same every day, and it meant that I could exercise all the time. I didn't have to worry about certain things.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, if you had asked me just after I came off the pill and what I was researching, I went through a rage phase, which I'm sure you did too, where you just get so
Mm.
angry, like, oh, how dare they put this so many women on this? Anyway, I came off the pill 7 years later after reading this book, and I was amazing, on top of the world for like 6 weeks. I felt incredible, and then everything came crashing down. My skin broke out really, really, really badly. I had a lot of IBS symptoms, a lot of gut symptoms, bloating, constipation, just like really heaviness in the gut. And one thing that I noticed, because yours was the hair that you had noticed, one thing that was really like stressing me out kind of was actually that I had blood in my stool every single month.
Wow.
And as a Cairo student, we were taught that blood in your stool was a red flag. But you know, when you're kind of going through your own health journey, you're in denial a lot of the time. So I just tracked it. I trusted that my body is fine and I'm okay, and I tracked it, and it came every single cycle. There were actually some months where my symptoms were bad that I had nosebleeds every cycle out of the left side, yeah. And endo has been found in the brain, in the nose,
Mm.
in the lungs, on the diaphragm. It's been found in really weird. Obviously, we know the pelvic cavity is where it usually spreads, but it does spread elsewhere. So I started, yeah, the blood in my stool was an interesting one. I had a lot of lower back pain. I had really discomfort when I was using the toilet, and sex was quite painful for me at some points. And cramps, yeah, just the whole toot. And I was like, okay, what is this? And then me being me and like you, I researched it and I wanted to know more. I need to know everything about everything. And I came across colorectal endometriosis, which they've now renamed as deep infiltrating endometriosis. And I didn't do much about it. I went to the gynae, like just my normal gynae, not a
Mm.
specialist, and they offered me the pill again. And I was like, that's not what I want to do. I've just come off of this. I was having regular cycles as well, which is healthy. Um, Fast forward to 2022, and I went to see a endo specialist in Cape Town, the top of the top guy. He diagnosed me using intra like vaginal examination, and symptoms. He diagnosed me with endometriosis on the spot, no ultrasound. Well, we didn't do an ultrasound that time. No MRI and no laparoscopy, which usually for endo, they diagnose using laparoscopy.
Mm.
So, and I said, okay, that's fine. Like I kind of knew this, but what now? Is there any natural way to heal this? And he said, no. He laughed at me. He told me that if I found anything natural in the research, I should please bring it to him because he's never heard of anyone healing their endo naturally.
Wow.
So, not a great experience. I left there in tears, but then I decided, okay, this is my chance now. What can I do? Like there must be, as a chiropractor, I believe the body heals if you give it the right tools. What am I going to do now? And that's when it kickstart my mission of healing naturally. So I've been to quite a few people. I've seen naturopaths. I've seen a lot of different chiropractors. Eventually I came across a functional medicine doctor. I've also seen homeopaths, but my functional medicine doctor is who really, really just changed everything for me. And we worked together for a long time. I was put on a whole supplement regime, my diet. I had a lot of diet changes. Um, I started using food as medicine as what you did, and the results were just amazing.
Yes.
So that's kind of a snapshot. There's so much more to it. I think we'll get into it at some point, but that's a snapshot. So, and I'm very, very, very grateful to say that I do believe my endo is in remission. I had an MRI in the UK actually a few months ago, and he confirmed there is deep infiltrating endo. But my gynae here is amazing. He was like, okay, well, you know what you're doing. It sounds like you've got a good background. If your symptoms are manageable, I'm not worried. Let's check up again in a year. We'll do another MRI and let's see where we're at. And he's so supportive. And the difference, I'm not saying it's a South Africa, UK thing. It's a personal thing. It's that
Yes.
person, and he listened to me, and he actually in the consult I told him all of these things, and he's like, what have you done? Tell me more. And he got his notepad out and he was writing magnesium, zinc, whatever I had done, abdominal massage, blah blah blah, all the things I had done. He's like, this is really cool, you should get involved with the endo group because they need to know that there is hope. Like, what a contrast, how amazing. Yeah. So
Oh,
it's been
it's
a
amazing.
long journey and it's never ending.
Yes.
You'll know.
Yes.
We were both born with these genes and lifestyle pulls the trigger, as we know. So we have to keep on top of it. But there is hope. And that's the point of today's. These are our stories. We've come out on the other side and we want to help people do the same.
But thank you for sharing. I think it's great for me to, we haven't been, well, I haven't heard this in-depth
Yeah.
story. And just the things that you said about the support. And I
Mm,
think for that is such a big key in your health journey is about finding your support network.
hmm.
If you find a practitioner and it doesn't resonate, you're allowed to say, thank you, bye.
Yes,
And take
exactly.
whatever lesson you got out of that experience, and it's fine, but move on, but keep on looking.
Yeah.
It's very important.
But that's what also we want to empower
Mm,
people with is second opinions
yes,
and understanding that Western medicine is life-changing and life-saving. I'm not saying that we don't want to go that route. It's necessary sometimes, but they medicate and they do surgery. That's what they do. They find a symptom, they give you a medication. When we go holistically, it's a long road. We are still walking the road, but
of
it's
course.
so worth it.
You know what also stands out for me is, I mean, my diagnosis, I think I started feeling very not well. I thought, why is my body broken?
Mm,
I started there. My body is broken. What did I do wrong? So we instantly go in like, what did I do wrong? Yes, there's a lot to our environment, to emotions. So there's a lot that could have affected why we have something or why a gene
mm,
unlocked.
mhm.
Um, but the journey is also the way we look at ourselves and the way we heal and the way we talk to ourselves. And I think we're in such a system that it's just like, yo, let's just manage the symptom.
Hmm.
But it is a deeper look, especially when we go holistic. We don't just look at one aspect. There's a lot of things that contribute to it. But what a beautiful journey, actually. Going back now, looking at yours and mine and where we are now, being able to talk in such a positive way.
Hmm.
I always believe there's a reason things happen.
Yeah.
So, for the ladies that's listening to this, whatever you maybe have diagnosed with, or the symptoms, they are trying to tell you something. So I really hope that the show is that space where you learn that the symptoms talk to you.
Hmm.
And you just have to take back your authority to try and answer them
And to listen.
and to
Um,
listen.
the body uses symptoms not to be mean, but it's
Yes.
actually just saying, Bia, something's going on here.
Yes.
Please take note. And I just feel like we are so disconnected as well in this life that we live. So we're so disconnected. So how can we actually listen to those symptoms when we're not really listening and actually connected to our bodies? So, and we're going to go into that in a lot more detail in
Yes.
the future.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a little intro to what we're doing, how we met, our journeys. There's so much to come. We have brainstormed a lot also before this, so there's so much that we're going to cover. We're super grateful for everyone being here and listening. So yeah, until next time, we will be in touch and we'll see you guys all soon.
Okay. Till next time, stay in sync.
Stay in sync.
Love that.